Today, we're going to be talking about my decision about retiring early. Now, this worked for me, and I will be giving you every little detail about my research and the things that I found that was important for me to know to make this big decision. Hello friends, this is Monica. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject that is very important to all of us, probably baby boomers that are getting close to retirement age, which right now is at 67. I wanted to share with you my decision about retiring at 63. I want to give you why I did it, some of the research that I did. Now, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody has different circumstances. But for me to retire at 63, it really changed my life. So I felt like it was a great decision for me. Now, my husband has not retired. So that is an important point here because I want to bring that up. So when I give you all the information, you understand where we stand. You know, I feel that retirement is a little bit complicated, and a lot of us get to that age when, you know, we're starting to turn 60 and we're getting close to retirement at 65, 67, and we're trying to decide, should we wait? Is it worth it? Or should I retire now and take in considerations all the possible benefits of that? So my husband is self-employed and he works for himself, but the great thing about that is that now with me retired is giving us more of that freedom to do the things that we want, but we still have the option of doing some work and making an income. I mean, we were always going, well, someday we're going to be doing that when I retire. And I thought, wait a minute, when I retire, I am hearing more and more that the lifespan of people, I mean, I'm not trying to be scary, but it's normal to know that a lot of people in their 80s, it's the time where things are starting to happen, especially with our health. So that someday, to me, was like, that someday is very close to my age. I'm 65 now, but when I was 63, I thought that's a long way to wait to go do all the things that we have planned, the things that we want to do, but still have the option of having, obviously we're not going to make a crazy decision, that we can still continue to pay our bills and we have the ability to save money and also travel and do all the things that we want to do. Like a lot of couples, we follow the traditional plan, which was work hard, stay busy, save, and wait. Now, when I turned 60, something shifted for me. Time felt like it was going faster every year. It is. And we didn't want to just try to squeeze in these tiny little vacations every year. We kept saying, okay, we will do that when we retire. And I was like, And then I realized that that sentence in my head needed questioning. So the very first thing I did is the math. And let me show you exactly how I figured out, for me, the 63 was okay to retire. Okay, so here's my scenario. My Social Security benefits for the age of 67 showed that I would get $1,700 a month. And then as I looked at the different ages earlier, at 63, I was gonna get $1,500 a month, $200 difference. Okay, so at first I thought, oh wait, $200 a month, that's quite a bit. But check this out. Okay, let's say that I live for 20 more years. Of course, I hope I live longer than that. But okay, let's say I live to be 83. So from 63 to 83, I would receive $1,500 times 12 for a year. The total will be $18,000 for the year. Okay, that's if I retire at 63. Now, times 20, those 20 years that I'm gonna live, that's $360,000 for 20 years, okay? Now, I did the same thing at age 67, which is my supposed to retirement age. So I went to the same age of 83, so from 67 to 83, I would get the $1,700 a month, which was $200 more, times 12, that's $20,400 a year. But now it's only 16 years left to that 83 because now I waited to 67. So the total of that is $326,400. So that means that retiring later, I was going to receive at the same amount of time, same time span, I would receive $33,600 less if I waited to 67. Like I said, this is my math, okay? This is what I figured out. So I thought, wait a minute. This makes total sense to me now. Then I found out that if I work while I'm claiming my Social Security, if I do it early, I can earn up to $24,480 in a year. This is a 2026 numbers, of course, before benefits are reduced. Because I think what they do, if I went out there and got like a $30,000 job, then I have to pay the difference of that $24,480, and they'll take $1 out of every $2 extra that you make from that $24,000. So then I thought, okay, wait a minute. So I can make $24,000 doing all these extra things that I do on my own time, still get my Social Security. So the total would be $42,480 for the year. So that's pretty good. That's a chunk of money to make as a retired person and still working a little bit. But here's the great thing. At 67, they allow, on my retirement age of 67, they allow me to work as much as I can, as much as I like. There's no penalties. I can make as much money as I want. Not that I'm going to, but they let you do that. So the only penalized part there that I see is that you can only make so much for those 4 years, from 63 to 67. But it's $24,000 plus what you get for the Social Security. So to me, when I did the math to it, my husband looked at it and said, that's enough, we're good. I mean, he's still working. Of course, if you are single or a widow and you don't have that income, you're gonna have to do the pencil to that. But for us, it worked out beautifully. So all that is the money part. That made complete sense to me. Now the next thing was the lifestyle. Now we can still work and make extra money. So really, it wasn't about, okay, we just want to completely stop working. We just want to start living more and start living differently. Not hustle, 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 but figuring out more times, more ways for us to enjoy life, travel, see places, be around the family, do things that we really want at this stage of our life. We have the ability to design our days around our lives and not around work. That's huge for me. Now, mind you, this was not an easy decision for me. I mean, I worried about, okay, I'm getting a paycheck. every month, the structure, being around people. So I had to look at those factors and say, okay, how can I incorporate that to my life now when I retire and still have all that, but not be confined to a job where I have to go and spend 40 hours a week and then you just have a couple days the weekend left over to do things. So the very first thing I did is, okay, what can I do where I still feel like I'm working, but I am not on a schedule? So there's two things that I started doing. First, I became the administrator of my husband's business. So I would go to his shop the days that I picked, and I would work on the books, I would work on marketing, advertisement, following up with clients, all that great stuff that he absolutely can't stand. The second thing that I did is I started Uber Eats and DoorDash. Jump in my car, turn it on, work for a while, make some extra money, and I talk to people when I pick up food and then drop it off, and I'm in and out, and I can schedule myself whenever, wherever I want. I love it. Now, I've been thinking about making a video about all these extra things where I make extra money while I'm retired, so I will make sure to do that. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I am trying to share with you everything that's going on in my life as a 60-pluser, and maybe that can help you make some great decisions as well. The benefits that I expected and actually happened was that now my husband and I are scheduling every year. We sit down at the end of the year and we will plan out the months that we want to take off and do things. You don't have to ask anybody. There's no questioning. My husband's make sure that all his business is taken care of so we can go. That freedom for me is awesome. And now that I am older, I think, okay, yes, I'm not stuck in a job waiting to retire at 67. And who knows? That's 4 years. How many other things can happen? And I mean, I start already feeling it. I mean, my body is not like it used to be when I was in my 40s and my 50s. So the stress level now is so little. I mean, we can plan things out. My husband's job is portable. And if we decide to stay longer, or if we want to go here and there, we can do this. Now, we are continuing to save money. That's why I do all these extra things, because we feel that saving money as we get older, continue to do that. That is key. Obviously, we are still going to do the things that we would have done if I was in a corporate job. But the difference is the stress level now. I work as I want. I make the money that I want, and I work as hard as I want. And that, it's called freedom. And I'm not saying that everybody should do this. Everybody has different circumstances, different lifestyle, different money saved. I'm just giving you my scenario here, because for us, this absolutely made total sense. There's more than one way to design your life once you start thinking about slowing down, retiring, and all that. That is, depends on every situation and every couple's lifestyle, for sure. For my husband and I, retiring early wasn't about for me to stop living and stop doing things. It was about the freedom. It's about the choices that we want to make as we get older, and feeling like now we're fulfilled, there's less stress, and enjoying every single day as we want. So if you've been thinking about retiring early, make sure that you check and research, do your own math, talk to your accountant, all that kind of stuff, because that's what I did. Here is my scenario, how I felt, how this is going to work for us. And I tell you what, we are enjoying every single day. Actually, we have like 3 trips already planned for the beginning of this year. We also have some things they want to do to the house, and we have saved money for that. We're not rich, we're just clever, we're saving, and we are using this time that we have left, whatever that is, because life is short, we never know. We're in a very smart way, are enjoying life and living this life the best we can at this stage. So let me know in the comments if you have been thinking about retiring early, or if you already have retired early. Love to hear your thoughts, how things are going, any ideas, any things that we can do to just make this stage of life amazing, full of all kinds of adventures, and also smartly living it so we can just say, okay, this is what retirement is supposed to be. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.